All right, welcome back everybody. We got our room coming together and now we need to install some plumbing. Again, lots of choices for plumbing materials you can use. One of the old standard, of course, is copper pipe. And if you're using copper pipe, you're going to have to sweat the joints together, also known as soldering. It might sound a little intimidating if you've never done it before, but it's actually really easy, and frankly, it's a lot of fun. I'm going to show you how to do that today. All right. Let's start off with some basics. What you're going to need a torch with some propane. You're going to need something called flux. You're going to need a wire brush. They have other things called flux brushes, which you're going to need. You can just use a paper towel or something if you don't have that one. Something to cut the pipe with. You'll need some non-lead solder, some sandpaper. All right, and then you need all your parts and pieces that are going to go together. Personally, I like to do all my soldering outside. What I recommend you do is, whatever your project is, take your measurements, get all your pipe cut, put it together outside, and then when you make your last connection, they have special push-on joints to make your last connection to your house piping. The reason for that, if you're trying to sweat a pipe that has water in it, you're never going to get it done. It's going to be a nightmare, all right? Because you got to get that joint hot. And if that joint is not hot, if there's water in it, it's never going to work. And if you get one drop of water in your soldered joint, it's going to crack. And it's not going to hold water. And if that happens, it's never going to come out. You're better off cutting it out and starting over again. So they make something called a push-on joint. You'll see them in your local hardware store. It's got a big fish on it, the most common brand name, so you'll see what I'm talking about. All right, on to what we're doing here. Start off, we have our pipe and our fitting that we need to solder on. You need to take a little piece of sandpaper. What's important is that you're soldering clean pipe. All right, you have a clean cut at the end, and you want to make sure that the pipe itself is clean. So you take your sandpaper and you want to get all corrosion off that pipe. You should see shiny metal. And we're going to want to see nice and shiny metal. And you do the best you can with your sandpaper. All right, and we're getting nice and shiny there. All right. Then what you're going to do is for your other part of the joint, what you're typically going to use, take this wire brush and you're going to go on the inside. And you're going to do the same process. Again, it's getting all the crud off the inside or the outside of the pipe. Even though it looks clean, there are oxides on it, basically rust. Right? All rust is oxidation. You want to get all that junk off. All right? Now, even despite our best efforts, we sanded that down pretty good. It's not totally clean. So what we do is we take what's called flux. It's a light acid, which actually cleans all that oxide off on a molecular level. Again, they make little brushes for it. I can't find mine, to be completely honest, so we're just going to use a piece of napkin. It works just fine. It's the same. You take that flux and you just get it good on that pipe, and you do the same on the inside of the joint, right? And that light acid, what it's doing, again, it's just cleaning the metal, getting down the bare metal so you get a good contact with the joint. If you don't do this, your pipe's going to leak. There's nothing else to it. Then all you do is you simply take the two ends of the pipe and you just push them together nice and tight. All right? And then what I do, probably the best thing to do is you get a little clamp and get yourself all set up here. All right? You don't want to crush your pipe. You just want it snug so that you can work on it. All right, now when you're working on these things, right? If you're working inside your house, you're going to be up soldering inside your floor joist more than likely. All right, gentlemen, if you could solder the most perfect joint that's ever been soldered. If you burn your house down in the process, this project's going in the L column. You understand? Take some safety precautions before you do that. They make little blankets that are out of fireproof material that you can put over that. If you don't have anything, take a piece of sheet metal, stick it up in your floor joist just to protect that wood. All right. Now, I think it'd be useful, just a little quick, not to go into a dissertation about what soldering actually is. I think a lot of people mistakenly think that you're trying to put a coating on the outside of it. That is absolutely not the case. If you do that, it's probably going to leak. What you're actually doing is you're heating up this metal, and then you're heating up this joint material. And what is going to happen is this copper is going to get so hot that it's actually going to liquefy this joint material and pull it inside. So what's happening is this joint material is actually filling what's called the annular space in between these two pipes. It's filling that little gap where those pipes go together. You're not putting a cover on the outside, so to speak. All right, then you take your propane torch. There's a few different types that are out there. You can just light it with a lighter. This has a fancy red button on it. So it just lights like that, right? And then all you're doing is it's going to take some time. You want to get this pipe hot. It's a cold day out here, so we're going to be here a while. And you're just going to go around. You're going to want to get it nice and hot. I'm seeing some steam coming up. It's a good sign. And then what I'm going to do is I'm not going to force it. I'm just going to take this and put it over there. And I'm going to let gravity do its thing. See how it starts to run? And that's all there is to it. See how it ran inside the pipe? And if you look down close, you can see there's a nice silver line all the way around inside there. And that's all that needs to be done. It's a little snotty looking on the bottom where it dripped a little bit. That's okay. Take a piece of sandpaper, clean it up later. That joint will hold water. We're definitely going to do it later because that bad boy's hot right now. Don't touch it when you're done with that. Let that sit and cool for a few minutes. And that's all there is to it.